coming out and supporting us both. And I'm so glad to be launching Atlas of Roots alongside the most wondrous Arlene Perret. And I am very grateful that Caitlin Press gave Atlas of Roots its home, and I'm thankful, grateful to them. And I'd like to acknowledge that I'm reading from the lands of the Lekwungen and W SÁNEČ people. I can't name my ancestors, but they were uninvited settlers on this land in Canada, and their colonial mindset is something that I'm working to change that on teaching in my heart. Atlas of Roots is a poetic narrative about adoption. So it's about my journey, and it also involves other people that I interviewed and spoke with about adoption. It really runs like a river, questions about identity, and also some of the uglier side of adoption, things like the shame, the stigma of an unwanted pregnancy, international adoptions, the 60 scoop, secrets and lies where people weren't maybe told the whole truth. So all of these are complex and challenging issues, not to mention my own traumas through this journey in trying to find answers about it. But I do believe that there is resilience in speaking the truth. So I'd like to start with this poem. The child only wants to know. I don't know the color of your eyes, the books you read, the worries of your days, but wear your burdensome shadow. I don't know the line of horizon you long for, or the one smell from your childhood you would want at your death. I don't know the words you say to comfort, the poem you've memorized. I don't know your hands. Tell me. Start with my growth in your womb, your fears, your hunger for my leaving. Tell me our family's ways. Was land their faith? Were they miners, bookish, dark, ordinary folk? Did they vision and build? Did our family tear down? What lullabies sung to the babies, food cooked for the sick, for celebrations, what offerings made, what words for anger? Give me more than false imaginings, empty medical records, broken lineage. It is story I want. I am a child of, I come from. How to pronounce me. I entered the world head first, my name embossed in the white vernix across my back. My name waited for me to claim it, but hands toweled and swaddled me. That name was wiped onto hospital linens and washed away. I have never loved my given name. It feels wrong. I hate saying it. This burnt mouth name won't let me go. Her first name, his first name, my real name. I cannot properly be summoned. Call me with your eyes, not your mouth. Conjure me. I still wait for my name. This is called Yours, Not Yours. There's always a moment for an adoptee who, when you realize that it's bigger than just being part of a family. You are 8, maybe 9. Another dinner with uncles, aunts, grands, cousins, stitched around the dining room table, and talk opens a window on family and past family, all those names, stories of farming and dust, Winnipeg, Hamiota, snow in winter, dugouts, train trips, orchards and horses, the family dog. You were a kid, and those uncles and aunts repeat those stories that decode Helen's laugh, Charlie's love of opera, your father's height, Anna Lopkin, great grandmother, and how your cousin is her spitting image. You are not. You're puzzling out. Adopted great great isn't your great great. And if that great great is not yours, then what of your father, mother, sister, brother, the cousins and aunts, uncles, the nana and the grandpa? Yours, not yours. So a lot of poems have to do with the search, and this poem is called Threads. I tug at a thread, wind it up, find the frayed end. In my box of embroidery, I've sorted colors, untangled them, brought order to their being. I can darn a hole in a sock, rejoin what has come undone, weave in a running stitch back and forth, but it's never a complete fix, color not a perfect match, stitches never lie as flat as I'd like, the wool a little askew. Now, for some adoptees, and I was one, I was told I was chosen, but for some it becomes a real surprise, depending on when they find out and how they find out. And this poem is called Dresser Drawers. It's usually the top one, filled with rolled sock pairs, pins, stamps, scarves, broken costume jewelry, wallets no longer used, perhaps the passport, nylons, scent of powder in compacts. Clear up her worldly goods. Find a tender secret. In the back of her drawer, a flowered card, a photo. Or adoption papers, a mother's name so beautiful, so foreign. Or discover your wife never told you about her move to Toronto when she gave up the baby. Or find you have an older sister, born in a separate province, born years before you, unnamed, never spoken of. Slide the drawer closed as your throat tightens on a fist-sized weight. Strong intuition, it told me that my biological mother resisted my efforts to find her. And this proved to be true later in my search. This is called Driving East. Empty roads and long reach of sky, flickers of fence posts, ditches filled with water, sedges, high cattails. We've driven hours, prairie sprawls. A red-winged blackbird commands attention. Dust seeps through the car. My husband next to me, our exchanges unfold in pauses, radio a tinny distraction, background mumble with road tread hum. Suddenly her angry voice, unprovable, but I take as gospel on a radio program. My daughter can never come looking for me. I don't want to know her, see her. She should leave me alone. I am certain she has buried me. I pull off the ditch too close, the car tilts and I cry, untethered as prairie storm cloud, hollow as the wind's circling palm, the sky presses heavier than the earth. Sometimes the answers are not what you want. This is called When My Brother Found His Birth Mum. Her hungry mouth at his ear promised a velvet cloak, a talking fox, and a castle. But when he visits, the mortar has crumbled, the walls fall in. She sits on a lumpy couch. This is called Father Redacted. I can only imagine my father. So few clues, no name, only the father is a moon-faced man. There's nothing on his eyes or height or hair. I only have a current pulling me from shore, a riptide that won't release. This strange phrase on my adoption form, the father is a moon-faced man. It grips me. I ask for more, ask my mother, does moon-face mean illness? Disease? Was he odd? Slow? Was it my birth mother's description of this man, the social worker's choice? I hunt for my adoption papers years later and find they've disappeared, yet certain I read that sentence. The father is a moon-faced man. Now, the reality I don't know, but perhaps I can speculate. This one is called When She Learned Her Father Was the Moon. When she learned her father was the moon, she climbed the tallest tree in the backyard and waited for him to appear over the neighbor's fence. But he arrived, tucked up and curled half moon with unformed features. When she learned the moon was her father, she rented a boat, rowed to the horizon to welcome him. But he stalled behind clouds, blurred, distant, lit only a fraction of her face. The moon is her father, a word. Her father is a word, distant. There are weeks when she forgets to watch for him and he'll surprise her, caught in tree branches, framed by rooftops, reflected in a lake. Blood moon rising. This one is speculative fiction on my birth mother. In another world, I am still your child. We accept each other's semblance when we speak in anger, tendency to hoard books and scarves. We share language codes, follow familiar lines of migration. You've woven chants through my hair since babyhood, and lines of salt current hold us close. You say our eyes match. I want to fast forward through years of searching. My first answers came when I had a DNA test done, and a search angel in Ontario picked up my case. Using the DNA, she tracked down my birth mom. She called her. Then I learned that my birth father had actually raped my birth mother, and that she still feels this incredible sense of pain and shame. And I know she'll never share his name with me, and it is redacted from all government forms as well. And I know she and I will never have a conversation or meet. So this is what I wrote when I learned of my birth origin. Ice. You can't breathe below the ice. Cold owns you. Trout mock your flail. Skin splits, ice shards in the water are razors. Ice and cold and breath and shards conspire. If there is a way out, it is farther upriver, where your body crash landed. You have no breath, and so you have no words. There is no way to call. And I'd like to end with this poem. Take back your secret. It won't be night's bitter air, but the snow on a winter's afternoon falling, soft, building a new landscape. Perhaps there's a path where you wait, hold a token, or let it hide in your pocket. Keep it. There is an empty bowl and an unmarked envelope. Set them down. Let the secret be the missing, the dislocated. There are no tracks in the snow. Perhaps you're the scoop of a wing or the moon beneath my tongue. Thank you.
That was beautiful.